the essence of me is that I don't want people to feel invisible. I don't ever want anybody to feel invisible or feel like they've got nothing to contribute to this world.
Yeah.
Because every single person has. And everybody is of value. And women of a certain age, they are full of wisdom.
Oh, yes.
They are full of knowledge and full of wisdom, and they have a lot to give.
Most women know exactly how to show up for everyone else, the work, the family, the responsibilities, the constant forward motion. But somewhere in the middle of all that, something quietly shifts. You catch yourself in the mirror and think, whoa, who is that? Kerri Little has spent over a decade helping women answer that question. Kerri's why and purpose started from a little child when she was made to feel invisible. She's an Auckland-based master portrait photographer, qualified coach, and the creator of the How I Show Up Now event, a deeply human experience designed for women 40 plus who are doing life well but no longer recognise themselves in the reflection. Kerri doesn't do reinvention, she doesn't do makeovers. She creates spaces where women can stop performing, stop holding it all together, and simply arrive as they are. Because her belief is this: confidence isn't something you manufacture, it's something you return to. This is a conversation about visibility, identity, and what it actually means to show up for yourself. Kerri, welcome to my show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me on it.
100%.
I'm excited now.
There were a little bit of nerves. I think everybody that comes on this show always says, unless they're a true interviewer, podcaster, they always go, oh, I feel a bit nervous. And I always remind them, hey, it's not live. Everything can be edited.
But, I spend my whole career putting the spotlight on other people.
I know.
It's always a little bit, you have to adjust to get that.
Yeah.
To become the subject.
Yes.
It's an adjustment.
And I think you're absolutely right. It's turning it around. However, after this, I'll be interested to see how you feel afterward, to go, yes. Oh, actually, this was all about me, not just about my clients. So to give you, our listeners, a little bit of a background, you own your own business that sees you spending many hours behind the camera lens, organising events and connecting people and making people feel good about themselves. You're not your typical, what I call shoot and burn kind of photographer, because you bring so much more than that. So before we get started into your story and finding out the essence within you, I always like doing a few quickfire questions.
Let's go.
Just to get the energy going. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, don't read my notes.
I can't read. I've taken my glasses off. I can't read.
All right. Black and white or colour?
Ooh, colour.
Colour, okay. Natural light or studio light?
Or both. Both together.
Both together?
I like using both together.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. Ocean or mountains?
Ocean.
Oh, I like that, ocean. Planned shoot or spontaneous moment?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I didn't say these questions were going to be easy. Everybody thinks quickfire questions.
I do love, even within a planned shoot, you get the spontaneous moments. They come out.
Okay, nice. Camera as a mirror or camera as a window?
Camera as a mirror.
Yeah, nice. You look amazing or you look like you?
Neither.
Now this is going to be great, because we're going to talk about this later in the show.
Right. You
so
look
I love
like
that.
you. Let's go. Let's lean
like
into
you.
that one.
Okay. Big event or intimate gathering?
Oh, intimate.
Intimate always. Okay. The moment before the shot or the moment after?
Before and after.
After.
Before is more important, I think.
Okay.
Initially, because it creates the after.
Yeah, which you're so good at doing. Yeah. Reinvention or reconnection?
I want to say reconnection, but when you introduced me, when you said reconnect, some people have never connected.
That is very insightful, and I would agree with
So
that.
I'd say connection.
Yes, I agree with that too. Take the re out and just make connection. And it is fascinating because there's so many comparisons or similarities between your business and my business, but we just do them in a different way.
Yes.
And so many people that I work with are so not connected. They don't even know who they really are.
No.
Amazing.
So much.
Okay, let's go and hear about the essence within you. So you've spent over a decade behind the camera, working with leaders and founders and professionals across New Zealand and Australia. But, you know, there's really a twist in your business because you aren't really in the business of taking photos. You're in the business of helping people meet themselves again, and I'm really interested to actually talk about that. But first, let's just go back a little bit in time. How did you get started to be a photographer?
So, do you know, I never knew I was a photographer. I always was a photographer. I never was conscious of it. So I've always been a photographer. When I look back, I've had these wow moments because I was never consciously aware that I was actually always a photographer. And I look back at my photos when I was 14 walking around a council estate in Northern England with my bestie taking photos, posing in subways and stuff. Wow. I can't even remember doing that. I don't know the tool I was using to do it. Nothing. I just see the photos and go, wow. I was doing that then. And then when we would go on holiday with our girlfriends, I'd be the one who'd be in the pharmacy, you know, getting the films done and picking up 3-4 copies of the photos so that everybody had a copy of the photos. And it turns out I was the only one taking the photos on holiday. So it was never a spoken thing. It just happened very naturally.
How beautiful.
It just did. It was my whole life. When you hear about what I've done in my life, that I took to being 47 to realise what I was, who I genuinely was.
Really?
Really. I was still doing other things in my career till I was 47, not really accepting that actually this is my gift and this is what I do and this is what brings me the most joy.
Oh, it gives me chills down my spine. It's like that becoming moment of when we were just talking about connecting, and it's like, it was that connection moment, and yet it started so long ago.
Yeah, never saw it.
Yeah, fascinating. So tell me, where did you grow up? Where were you born?
Newcastle upon Tyne in Northern England.
Excellent. I love your accent. It's just gorgeous.
It comes out more when I've had a wine. But, yeah. And then, you know, my besties and that, they're all like, say book again. Say book, say film. And that's when it comes out. But way back when, I lived in Newcastle for the first 2 decades of my life, and then I moved away. And at that point, I was chefing. So I was working with Irish and Welsh. And we all had to just drop our slang. So, because none of us could understand a blooming word anyone was saying in the kitchen. And there was disasters happening everywhere because people weren't responding in a timely manner. And so we all had to drop our slang. So for years, people would think I was Irish or Welsh or from Cornwall or whatever, but not Newcastle.
I love it. I can just imagine. I can almost picture that scene in the kitchen with all these different accents. I'm not great with accents. I think you either have a good ear for it or not. So if I was in the middle of that kitchen, I'd be feeling like way confused.
Yeah.
So you talk about 47 suddenly becoming you, let's say. Was it a moment? Was it a thing that just happened, or was it a conscious decision?
Oh, it was a moment in time. I'd been doing photography as a hobby business since my kids were born. And I've been in New Zealand for about 23 years now. And so I was pregnant within a year of getting here. And I had a corporate job. Let me tell you the story.
Okay, let's go.
Right,
let's
so
go.
we had a corporate job.
People.
And you know when you start a job and they do your ID photo?
Yes.
And it was basically the maintenance man in his broom cupboard. And he just whipped me in there, took a prison shot, a mug shot, done. And I was walking around the business and I could see everybody with these just terrible photos. And photos are so personal, right? It's like your hair or your teeth. That's so personal. And this terrible shot on my chest, hanging on my chest on this thing. And I saw everybody else, and everybody else would be complaining about them. So I did this huge big turnaround and said, right, I'm bringing my camera in. I'm going to do everybody and make them feel good about those bloody photos that are sitting on their chest. You meet somebody for the first time with the worst photo on there. It's awful. Yeah. So I did that. And then the word got around that I was good with the camera at that point in the corporate space, because I was doing photos. I need to go back further. When I had the kids, they were in kindy and I was in corporate role. So the kindy, I'd go in with my camera.
Oh, do the kindy shots.
Yeah, and then I got this big contract with Lollipop's kindy. And then I'd go in, they'd go, right, where do you want the kids to line up? And I'd go, no way. I want them playing. I want them the most authentic self. I want them covered in spaghetti or bogies and mud and just crying or laughing, whatever, playing, and just joy. That pure innocence. I always wanted that. I never wanted kids just standing. Yeah. And I still don't want to see people standing like that ever. Yeah. And that's where that all started. And then gradually... And that's what I wanted, pictures of my kids. You know, when I'm at work, I want to see those pictures. You know, the mum guilt thing? I want to see that. Yeah. And they were so incredibly popular. And then I moved from that, and I wanted my weekends back and less of the families at the beach and the park. So I got into corporate photography. Yes. So, and people found out, my clients learned that I was good with the camera, so they'd ask me, and it was great because I was on a contract at the time, so I could just take a day out and go and do that, and it was building a lot of traction. And then, and then at one point I said, am I going to do this full time? Should I? And then I bottled it because I was like, I had this huge fear that something I was so incredibly passionate about, I would resent, because it was my hobby, and I would resent it to pay my bills. Yep. And then I'd hate it, and I'd be like stressed out my head because I couldn't pay the bills. And so I just leaned into the corporate thing. I got my Six Sigma, black belt in Six Sigma, and that was a great thing, great for my ego. The corporate, you get the job, the team, all that stuff made it really hard to leave to do the photography. And then a couple of years later, I went on a weekend at Wanderlust. So this is a moment in time.
Yes,
sorry, it was a long way to come into it. Sorry.
No, I know, but this is a fascinating journey. It's almost like the universe was saying to you, come on, here's another opportunity. Yeah, here's another opportunity. Yeah. So,
by the time you're 47, you just can't keep it in anymore. So I went to Wanderlust at Taupo. It was half yoga, half meditation. I was equally as unfit then as I am now, and so I was signing up for all the meditation sessions, and I had no idea what was happening then. Every time I come out of a session, I'd be in tears. I'd be like, what's happening? And in retrospect, I was stripping back the onion, peeling back the onion, right? Yeah. I'm not Kerri the mother, the boss, the sister, the wife, the daughter. I'm not any role. All the conditioning went, and it was just me, raw, in tears, bawling my eyes out, going, okay, Carrie, what do you want? What's going to bring you joy? What's your purpose? What do you care about? What's your values? Never really stopped and asked myself that.
Not many people do.
No, and they really don't. That's what I was saying before about actually reconnecting.
Yes.
I never actually connected with myself. And, the childhood was messy and traumatic, and so was never really visible back then. So my values were about making people be seen, making people take space in the world, and so it all kept coming out, and I was like, I have to do it. I have to do the photography. That's how I do this. So I came home and I patted Stuart on the shoulder, and I was like,
Stuart, your husband? Yes.
My husband. And I was like, I'm going to resign this week, and you've just got to trust me. I'll make it work. And that was it. That was the moment.
Amazing. What a great story. And again, what I love about that is the way the universe kept on giving you opportunities. It was like, come on, here's another one. And I do truly believe that when something is really meant for you, opportunities keep being put in front of you, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's up to you whether you take them or not. And most people are blind to them all
Totally.
the time that they go, I've never had any opportunities, but actually there's probably been so many they just haven't seen them.
Yeah.
You know, it's the old blinkers on kind of thing.
Just falling through life, right?
Yep, falling
I
through
was
life.
falling through life with just looking for pats on the back because
Yeah.
you were good at something,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
at that job,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, I always talk about that you can either let life happen to you or you make life work for you. And there's such a big difference between those two statements.
Yeah. And at that time, I kept saying, I've either got my plan or I'm part of somebody else's plan.
Oh,
And
yeah.
in that corporate space, I was definitely part of
Someone
else's
else's plan. Yeah.
And that didn't feel good.
And it's such a fascinating story. I love that. And you're right, because everything you were doing, even the kindy kids, when we look at photos of people, it is those in the moments that you look at, because it's so authentic. It's not, okay, pull myself together, look at the camera, smile, be the robotic, show up as what you're expected to. So you see the beautifulness of a human.
Yeah.
So much
and
more.
the great thing is I came into it at a time when photography was being challenged. It was being used to show a more warmer, authentic part of you rather than the role.
Yes.
So I always say it's like, taking the rod out.
Yeah.
Just chill, take the tie off, loosen the jacket up a bit, show people you're human.
Yes.
You're not just the boss.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, so true. And in a world now,
it's great.
and this is something I'm going to ask you about a little bit later, is in a world that craves authenticity, we have more inauthenticity and, of course, AI. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about photography that makes people feel not confident or critical? Because you hear this all the time. And, in fact, I made a comment before about being on camera. We look and we go, oh, look at that. You look at everything that's not working.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that, there's the photos you see of yourself where people aren't really taking care of you, like with a double chin and things like that.
Yeah.
The things that they're vulnerable for you, the things that matter to you. And
Yes.
It's a vulnerable thing.
Yep.
So I think that people can control their own photos with selfies. They can control the outcome of that. But when they're going to get their photos taken, they have no control. They're fully vulnerable. So I think it especially people in a corporate space, executives, they're so much used to being in control and going from one meeting to another meeting, being in control, holding all their emotions in. And then I'm asking them to get in front of my lens and just strip that back a bit and let me see the person inside there and let show everybody what a good person you are.
Yeah.
What a lovely person you are. And that's hard for people just to do that quickly, to turn around that, especially if they don't know me and they haven't worked with me, So
I always think it's such an interesting insight, because if you take a photo of someone and then show it to them, they will talk about all those insecurities that they probably have never muttered or told many people before.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, when you're taking photos, are you looking for perhaps some of those things to go, oh, I can see a double chin, or
of
there's that double roll,
of course, the arms, the belly,
arms.
everything, right? And I get that. I'm a woman. I have my insecurities, and I've worked with enough people to know everybody else has as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what I'm looking at, when somebody comes in and says, I'm terrible in the camera, I'm not photogenic, or you'll never get a good photo of me, and I'm like, bring it on. But when they're actually saying, look, I don't like this, I've got a scar here, or I've got a gap in my tooth, or my eyes aren't right, whatever, they have genuine issues involved, about themselves, and I'm going, well, let that be my problem.
Yes.
I'm the professional here, bring it to me. So what I'm constantly doing is saying, let me carry the weight of your worries. Let's empty them out your head, bring them over here. I'll deal with it, and let's just see who you are without all that. And let's see you. And I'm working with them, showing them the camera, showing them what I see, showing them what everybody else sees, and the beauty, them.
Yeah,
who
and then
they
they
really
can,
are.
and then they can drop
And then
those,
all that internal narrative, all that BS, that I've got that for now. You just look at that and then you see it, and they're present. They become present because you've given them permission to let go, and they trust that you're going to deal with the outcome of that. The photos that come out of that, that's on you.
Yeah.
And they're handing that responsibility over to me. That's the crux of it. So for me, whatever insecurity somebody comes in, I say, come, give it to me. Let me look after that. Let me just deal with it.
Which is a beautiful way of doing it, because I think for so many photographers I know in my lifetime, and I've been in a lot of corporate roles and in my own business of branding and everything else, and I certainly haven't had that level of care, that's for sure.
But when
and and I do remember one photo shoot that I had not so long ago, and honestly I looked at all the photos as they came through and I was just going, what? That's just awful. And I probably only used about 5 out of 100.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's really sad as well. And that's an investment as well.
100%.
That's sad. Did you feed that back to the photographer?
No.
So I think that you should.
I know.
Because how are they going to learn?
Yeah.
How are they going to grow from that? And that's
but I
really...
also thought that was probably my insecurities as well. It was a very difficult, because it was an outdoor shoot, and so there were, lighting and everything else, and that kind of lighting shows up everything. I wasn't wearing the right colours for the background and all sorts of different things.
But your insecurities matter.
Yeah, thank you. They do.
They do. All of it matters.
Yeah.
I get a lot of clients who'll be smiling at. And I'm like, what's happening? What's your relationship with your teeth going? What's happening? And they go, oh, no, I've got, my teeth aren't straight or whatever. And I go, I'd rather have an authentic smile. Yeah. And you'd be amazed at how very little amount of teeth we actually show when we do the full smile. Than a pursed lips, you know.
That looks like you're hiding something.
Yeah.
So that leads into something I'm interested, the difference between someone who's performing confidence and someone who's actually present in front of your lens. Can you see the difference instantly?
Yeah. I'm very lucky. I don't work with models. I work with everybody else who's not that model face, you know. So, and everybody else, not many of them actually perform, Some of them will, especially... if it's a really quick shoot and they're kind of just in and out, that kind of thing, I can go, hang on, stop, bring it back. And it's more about the engagement before you even pick up the camera, where you get rid of the performance. I'm watching them from the minute they come in, and also, like I say, you bring it over here, I'll manage you, I direct people, I'm shaping how they stand and all of that. So I'm adjusting and I'm talking constantly, so you're not even getting to listen to that internal voice, so I can see, and of course I see it when they're present. That is everything. Yeah. It's what I live for.
Yeah. Because you suddenly see,
it's emotional. It's like, when you said your eyes being a window before or a mirror, the photo's a mirror, look what we all see, look. But when I'm looking through that camera, it's right into their soul level. Yeah. And it gets very emotional. When I mirror that back, the tears come, especially when I'm working with... on my passion projects,
Yes.
I see it so much more there.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that passion project soon. So your work is described as presence and authenticity rather than polish or performance. How do you do that with a complete stranger?
It's like speed dating.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like speed dating. So it's the same as you would in your work, Have you got family? Do you live far? Just engaging, just talking about things that'll bring out the best in people's face and get them very present, forgetting what's going on out there, and just talking about things you love, your kids, your wife, your job, whatever it is, and you just engage in that conversation with them, and instantly you see, like sometimes somebody will come in front of my camera, I'll take up, and it might be a quick one, and taking a photo, and then they walk away and they smile. I go, oh, get back! There it is. You faker. That's when it's really a quick session kind of thing. Yeah. But normally I get at least, a good amount of time with individuals that I can see what's really authentic and see them calm. And I'm always saying, take a breath. Take a nice, deep, big belly breath and drop the shoulders and do this and do that, and they're there, they're present.
I can imagine, like myself, you must find that you really tune into someone's energy really quickly. I think this doesn't happen, in my opinion, and I'm interested in your opinion, that there's a lot of people who are doing really, really connective work like you are, like I am, but there's not a lot of people who are really actually firstly connected with themselves so that they understand the connection they need to bring out with other people. And for me, a huge part of that is about the energy that I feel from people, that, from the first moment I can meet a stranger and I just pick up the energy straight away. That gives me a confident, not confident, hiding. Do you feel the same?
I always say I'm holding the energy in the space. And I'm creating a space where I'm holding the energy and keeping it at a certain level all the way.
Yeah.
So after a photo shoot, I can go home and just go, like shaking it all out.
Yeah.
It's all in me. I let go. The minute I put those photos back on my desktop at home and they're safe, I can release all that energy again. But I feel like I take on board the energy in the space.
Yeah, interesting.
But to be fair, our personality works with energy, right? So if somebody's a quiet, not loud, and you work with that. You just adapt. You mirror.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah,
I can pick them up, and I will always pick that up. I always take it up a notch.
Yeah.
But it's I think that's the type of person we are, right?
Yeah,
That's who we are.
Yeah.
And at the core here, I want people to be seen. I want them to be seen by themselves. Predominantly.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's exactly what I do in my work as well.
Yeah.
So important for me to see that. So I just want to talk about authenticity at the moment because, there's such a drive at the moment for people to show up as authentic selves. And yet we have AI, we have, the video, do more videos, do more photos, do more posting, rah-de-rah-de-rah, be authentic. And then you have AI, people doing digital twins, people doing AI photo shoots. And honestly, I've seen some people in my circle doing AI photo shoots and I'm going, who is that? Like, do you honestly think that looks like you? Because it doesn't. It's so bizarre. And I wonder, is inauthenticity growing? And how do we keep that authenticity? Like, where will it go? I'm interested in your opinion on
Firstly,
that.
I get why people love the AI photos of themselves. They look gorgeous.
Yeah.
Do you know? They look at them and go, my God, I look brilliant.
Yeah.
I look so beautiful there. And it really appeals to them, and I get that. But everybody else is going, really? Really? That's not who you are. That kind of slur. But we have all these millions and gazillions of judgments sitting here. And they don't even get to our consciousness. They're subconscious. And so they turn into a feeling, a gut feeling. And that gut feeling is something's not right here between that photo and what I'm seeing. And it turns into mistrust, I think. It's a sense of you don't trust this person. So what I don't understand is why anybody would want to not put their best foot forward and use an AI photo that they've then got to gain that trust. They've got to work harder to gain that trust with somebody, whether it be a client or, anybody. They've got to work a bit harder to get over that sense in your gut that this person's not authentic. So I don't understand why people would want to do that in business. I know that at an executive level, we're not going to see that for a long, long time yet.
No.
And I think it'll take a few years for our human race to adapt, to evolve to the point where we're okay with those AI photos. But we haven't really evolved with Adobe Photostock.
Yes.
Those kind of images we buy to represent our business.
Yep.
But, everybody's seen that image, that they don't work in your office. There's still that.
Real.
So what we want to do is give a sense of who we are on our website using these stock photos. And it has a reverse, it has the opposite effect for us. And then you have to work harder to prove that you're genuine and you're who you are. So I don't get it just yet. I think it'll take a long time. But I do understand why people go, oh my God, I look great.
Yes, I know. Someone sent me one and said, let me do that photo for you. And I went, oh, who is that? Just so fabulous. But could I post it?
Oh.
No, I couldn't post it because I just thought this is not who I am.
Oh, and wouldn't it? I feel like I wouldn't feel good about myself because I'd be like, you're going to meet me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know.
I'd be like,
Exactly,
and
like,
I'm not as good
holy
as that or
shit.
whatever. And then that's a horrible other narrative you've got to deal
I
with.
imagine that people turning up and going, holy
You
shit, is that
catfishing
really
us.
you?
That's, yeah, no.
That'd be my worst nightmare.
It's a tough one.
Yes. So, talking about your female clients, you just describe your female clients as women who are capable, thoughtful, and doing life well, but who reach a point where what once worked no longer fits.
Yes.
Was this something you experienced in your life? You kind of touched on it, so that's why I think you've ended up where you are in this story about 47 getting into photography. But, so many people, as we said, live a life or a version of themselves that used to work. So what inspired you to do some work around this? And I think you have a special event called How I Show Up now.
Yeah. So everything I do is a reflection of where I am in life. It really is. Everything I work through is just, I'm going through that, so I'm going to talk about that because I wear my feelings on my sleeve. You know, I'm that person. So, but what I recognised was I had this huge kind of mentoring session before Christmas, and I've been through a lot with my daughter the last couple of years. I'm not going to touch on that, but it's impacted me.
Yep.
So I was having this mentoring session, giving it that. And as an outcome of that was actually I've been living in a very pre-COVID mindset, and struggling with how things are currently. So I was thinking of how my business was before COVID. I was thinking about how my daughter was before COVID and how the world was and how I was. And recognizing that I went through COVID and hit perimenopause.
Oh, fun.
So I came out of
fun.
that a very different person.
Yes.
My daughter's different, our family's different, the world's different, business is different, how people do business is different. And so settling on that it was amazing. It was like, the world makes sense to me again. So I was like, okay, so this is who I am now. Belly. Grey hair, this is who I am, and I don't want to have to hide it and mask it, take injections, do whatever. I'm not, no judgments, but I'm just not that girl, I'm not that girl. So I was like, how do I dress this now? How do I put makeup on this? How do I feed this now? And how do I get the best out of this?
It's a lovely reframe, actually.
Yeah. And it was like, rather than hiding and masking who I am, how do I work with what I've got and bring out the best and be seen and be happy to be seen again like that? And if I'm doing it, I can bet my bottom dollar other women are feeling that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why I did this, is How I Show Up nowadays. So it was like, anybody else a bit like me today, feeling like me? Is anyone else going through that and, don't recognise yourself in the mirror at the moment? And
I think you've touched on something that is just so important, because I think it goes against the fact that, when you reach sort of 50, you give less shits about life and everything else, less apologetic, and it's just about showing up. However, that version of yourself that starts showing up, the perimenopause, post-menopause, is often what people look in the mirror and go, oh my God, what happened to me, kind of thing. And I find that it's such a contrast with that. I feel older, my kids are older, I can do whatever I want, but actually I don't recognise that person that I'm turning into because of all these changes that are happening. Yeah. So I love that. So tell me, what do you do at these events?
So So people previously I was doing a lot of 50 over 50 projects. So we'd bring one woman at a time out of 50, bring them into the studio, give them champagne and lovely food and play some great music and do a lovely photo shoot with lots of outfits, lovely dresses.
Oh, gorgeous.
Just doing just a brilliant day. And it worked. It was brilliant for all of us. I had a lovely team around me, the stylist, hair and makeup, all of that. It was amazing. And the stories that come out of that were just incredible. After COVID, everybody's spending patterns were changing, and I get it. I understand everyone's got to, do what they need to get through it. So I was like, okay, how can I I still need to do that work because I know the rewards that come from it.
Yes.
And that's my purpose, right? So I need to do it.
Yep.
How do I do it? And how do I attract these women to do it? Well, I add more value. So I was bringing in more expertise into the day. So I brought a nutritionalist in. That was Vanessa Ivory. I brought Sarah Laurie in.
Yes.
That's talking about how we breathe. And how that impacts our hormones because we're not breathing properly. Vanessa came in and told us how to eat and, when to eat and what to eat and how that all works and what's going on. And then I had Eleanor, who came and did a lovely makeup tutorial.
Yeah.
Because how you wear your makeup when you were 20s and 30s is very different now. The eyelids and the fading eyebrows and all that malarkey. And then I brought Caitlin Taylor in to show you how to dress and how to style your body type and how you are now.
Yep.
And it was brilliant. It was so good. The feedback was amazing. So
did you? Yeah, it's beautiful. Did you actually see people change? Like you could who they were when they turned up, and then when they kind of that arrival moment.
We had the moment when they were present. Sorry, after all of that, I did the photo shoot with them at the end of the day.
Perfect.
So I saw the moment happen, the moment they were actually present. And I captured it on Heidi. She'll laugh when she hears this, but I captured that moment when it was there, when she arrived. When you capture that, I've shared it a few times on videos. That moment, it's a beautiful thing when they're just present and they're just there.
Yeah. And you want to bottle that up and put it in a package and say, never forget this. Never forget this.
Well, they never will. That narrative. I've bust the myth, I've bust it.
Yeah.
It changes that. And I always thought it was the external narrative I was working with.
Yeah.
How the world was treating people over a certain age and putting them in the shadows. And I witnessed that in the corporate space. And I always thought it was about that. And I came in at it quite headstrong working with these women. But actually, it's the internal narrative. You just can't be on this planet for 50 years and not have that narrative.
Absolutely.
Kicking you in,
Yeah. Beautiful event, and I will actually put details on it on this show as well. So there's probably people who would go, I need a bit of that, so I'll put the details of the show.
You.
Now, you and your husband Stuart, lovely Stuart, also hold another event series, and it's the LinkedIn Local events. And I've been a part of these, and I mean, if you don't know what LinkedIn is and what LinkedIn is about, if you're a working professional, then get out of here or get on here. But tell me about how that happened, because I've been to quite a few of them. I love them. There's a few hundred people that turn up. It's phenomenal from all over Auckland. And you meet people that I have followed online for years and years and years and never met in person.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, Stuart and I have been together since we were like 21.
Oh, cute.
Right, so a long time. And in our 20s, we'd have these big parties. 100, 150 people turning up in our garden party. And my birthday was at the height of summer, 31st of July. It's the height of winter here. So we'd have these big, lovely marquees in this tiny little garden. And calling the council and asking to use the car park, the field as a car park. So we'd have these big parties. Anyway, that's all come through now as what I love doing.
Yes.
So we had our studio in town. It was a beautiful big space on Fanshawe Street, and it became kind of like a drop-in centre, and people were coming in. And it's been a tough time, COVID. Then the floods in Auckland.
Oh yes.
Just when we got the studio, the studio was flooded out. And it was crazy. And then it became like a bit of a drop, and people. We're connectors, right? So we're always connecting people. Oh, you need to speak to her. You need to and we were like, why don't we just get everybody in a room and connect them and do what they used to do before COVID? LinkedIn locals were quite a common thing in most cities and around the world.
They were.
Yeah, and then I think the sponsorship dropped, and so it was too hard work for people, after COVID. So we were like, well, we've got the space. Let's just make it happen in here. We could fit about 120 people in that space. So we did it, and they were so good. We just wanted to lift people up, give them a boost in business, people who are in business, get you amongst people and not just behind the screen with your digital relationships.
In your own little world.
Yeah, we wanted to take those digital connections and make them in-person connections, right? And get you in the room, meet the person you've been talking to. And also, it could be a job opportunity, a client opportunity, but also could be just somebody to lean on or somebody to support. It's so many other things rather than just a money networking, traditional networking reasons. It was about just being a community again and getting your feet into that. And so we did that, and then we got too big for the studio, and we moved out there, and now we have it at the Beehive. And
Beehive Smales Farm on the North Shore in Auckland, and they are fabulous, and so many people turn up, and just you have a wonderful system actually, and I think this is really clever, that shows everybody else who's there. You all have a lanyard, but you can see who's a first timer because they have a different coloured ribbon, and I love that because I was the first timer once, and it was just such a place of what I would call generosity, where people want to make you feel welcome, and I've been there now numerous times, and I see people with the first timer lanyard, and I go, bring them in, bring them in.
Isn't that cool?
And it's just such a different way of networking, I think, where in business, I spend my life networking, and you can get into some really clicky groups where you're sort of taking that big breath going, okay, where am I going to bust into over here? But yours, I think, definitely carry the energy of you and Stuart. And I just call it a place of generosity. So it is beautiful.
Yeah, I went to an event pre-COVID, and it was when I just started the business up, and I thought, I'm going to connect. It's a room full of women. What could go wrong? And not a single woman interacted with me. And it took so much courage to try and burst into those little groups of women, and it didn't pay off. I was still pushed out again, and I didn't feel good. Yeah. And I never want people to feel that at the LinkedIn Local.
Well, let's face it, that's everybody's worst nightmare, isn't it? That you turn up to a networking event, and that's why most people don't go, because they're terrified of being left on their own and nobody invites them in.
Yeah, and also what terrifies me is doing that 30-second elevator pitch.
Yeah.
That freaks me out. So I never want people to feel that pressure and that anxiety, because we're all so very different, right?
Yeah.
But the friendships have formed in LinkedIn Local now, and it can look pretty clicky. So I had to think very quick, what can we do to break that and stop that?
Yep.
And it was like, right, let people know who's new. Because Stu and I'll be like, look, meet Bob, he's new. And now people can just see Bob's new because of the colour of his lanyard, you know? And I love the psychology behind being part of this community, is that they take ownership for bringing people and welcoming people in, like accountability for that. People feel responsible, and I think that's what makes people feel part of a community. Is that role playing?
Absolutely.
Is that part of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love studying the psychology behind it and seeing how, and just Stuart and I'll stand for a moment in the middle of a night and look around and watch how it's all happening, and just love it. We love it. Yeah.
No, it's beautiful, and I love what you've created.
Well, we said if we were going to do it, we wanted it in a good venue, because we needed good quality tech for the speakers. Good speakers as well.
Oh yes, should say that. Excellent speakers. It's not just about chatting and having a wine here and there and all the rest.
We want to stay away from
it's
politics,
food, and there's alcohol and non-alcoholic, and you've got great sponsors, and the speakers are just fabulous. Yeah. So amazing.
Yeah,
I love
it is.
I love,
it's cool.
love it. And again, that's about community connection, because as we touched on earlier, how people show up online in their own little bubbles is completely different.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important in a world where, 1 in 3 people feel lonely, that we all have to help people feel more connected, because I think the danger is we just end up, being a disconnected species, and fundamentally from how we operate, that is just wrong.
Yeah, and I think we have a big responsibility to show the younger generations how to do it too, because they've all been kiboshed in their room over the last 6 years, and you want to show them how to get back out there and get in front of people as well, and role model that as well,
and make them feel like it's not so scary.
Yeah.
So, coming back to one of your photography sessions, what do people normally say that they've experienced or changed that surprised them?
Hey, I've got about 250 recommendations on my LinkedIn, and I put them all into Claude and said, summarize.
Interesting.
Like,
Yes,
what are the outstanding things? So the most common thing is how they felt.
Yes.
So how I made them feel, how the photo shoot made them feel. So afterwards, how they felt. They felt in a safe space. They were shocked at what they saw, the shock of seeing themselves.
And they were okay with what they saw.
Yeah, absolutely. They were like, they couldn't believe it.
Yes.
And fundamentally it was how they felt in that space. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So it's funny because you think the photos it's all about the photos, but the photos are just a receipt. They're just proof of that moment.
Yes, yeah.
That's all the photos are, but it's actually people who want to be seen the best way possible, you know, the best.
And I'd like to think that they then go away and feel so much more confident in other situations because they suddenly see themselves and go, actually, I'm okay. And
I get messages, I went for that job because I had those photos. I mean, who would know that? And they're pretty senior and they're going for another role, and because they got a boost of confidence from their photos and from the shoot. I get all sorts of stories like that. One lady had a photo shoot with me, went and resigned as a nurse and joined a modelling agency the next week.
Oh my gosh.
And then I saw her 2 years later at the Auckland Fashion Show being carried down the runway by a 20-something-year-old hunk like in his undies, carrying her in her undies. 70 years old. 70.
Oh, amazing.
I had another story, a woman who had bipolar, and she printed all her photos in a hallway in her house. And if she woke up and knew that it was going to be a tough morning, she would power walk up and down the hallway and just get the energy from the photos.
Isn't that just
Those are
beautiful?
Stories that keep me going.
Yeah.
They just keep me going.
I think you should write a book about the stories. Well, those are just so inspiring, and I don't think anybody actually realises the power of that work that you do. As we said, it's not just about being a photographer. If your work created one ripple, I love talking about the ripple effect, and if a ripple that moved out into the world from your work, what would you want that ripple to be?
It does do a ripple. It has a ripple across your family, your workplace, your community. How you show up in the world is different after you've had a photo shoot, and you've had that realization, and you give yourself permission to take up that space and show up, be visible, and unapologetically be that way. And how could a woman feel that way and not have a ripple effect on her kids, on how she's showing up each day?
Yeah, different conversations, hey?
Yeah.
So when you look back at everything that you've created so far, what you've built, what do you hope your impact has been? When you think about LinkedIn Local, photography, all the different things that you've done. What do you think?
I often think about this. I did a coaching qualification during COVID.
Oh, nice.
And we learn all these, going in the future and looking back. So I often do this to myself and think, what do I want that community to say about me later on in 50 years' time, for example? I think that I would want people to say that I helped them to be seen, to be present.
Yeah,
it's a game changer. And connecting people, and all of that.
Beautiful.
Just that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
simple. It's not very profound, is it?
It is profound because actually, I think that's what so many people crave and probably don't realise what they need.
Well, I swear to you, I did like in my 40s, I'd be like, if I died tomorrow, like what did I do? What change did I make on the planet? What changed? And I think that, and then I ask myself, why is it I work more with women than men? Why do I lean more into that? Yeah. And I can't. It's very hard for me to articulate that. But obviously, I am a woman, but I think that for women more than men, they tend to not take their space. They tend to not be seen for whatever historical reasons in their life and in the world and how women are. And I think that for women, they need that extra push. They need that extra time. They need that encouragement. And to see that positivity in them, see the impact it can have.
I agree with that, absolutely.
More than men. But I do see it in men as well,
Yes.
but more in the women.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. So my show is called The Essence Within You. And if we look at the essence within Kerri, when everything's stripped back, what is the essence of Kerri Little?
I spent the majority of my childhood not being seen, not being visible. I spent the next couple of decades trying different ways of being seen, whether it be humour, having a big mouth, being the clown in the class, all of that stuff, or going through corporate, proving that I'm not dumb, I can do this, I can do that, pat me on the back. And I think the essence of me is that I don't want people to feel invisible. I don't ever want anybody to feel invisible or feel like they've got nothing to contribute to this world. Because every single person has, and everybody is of value. And women of a certain age, they are full of wisdom.
Oh yes,
they are full of knowledge and full of wisdom, and they have a lot to give. And I think we're lacking in community in every which sense of the word. We're lacking in community, and I really want to push that. So I think the essence of me is just being that connector, making sure that people see their possibilities and are visible. Is that
beautiful.
the answer?
100% is whatever that connects. And from what I know about you, absolutely, it is that beautiful drive beneath you. To actually do that. You see people, but you also help them be seen. And what I love is that, so often I think our drivers go back to, or that essence drive goes back to our younger years where we experience something that you just go, actually, I don't want to feel that ever again, but I also don't want other people to. So I think there's a beautiful tie-up with that.
In the most healthiest way.
I agree. I agree. Yeah. And so one day, when you're not on this planet anymore, what would you like to be remembered for? What would you like people to say about you when you're not here?
Being that I was a good person, and I was good to other people. I was kind to other people, and what you see is what you got. I'm authentic.
Yeah, you are
myself.
authentic, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, and this year I'm very aware that I need to walk the talk more, and I need to be more visible. So there's a reason I'm sat here.
There we go. The Essence Within You show is going to give you visibility.
Yeah.
So as a something that I do as part of my show, I give every guest one of these, and pink's the theme of the day today, and it's a beautiful quartz heart.
Beautiful.
And this quartz heart has been blessed down in the South Island in some of the most purest water that's hundreds of years old that comes out of a spring. It had a Māori blessing over it and has been purified. So I give that to you because I think the heart is at the base of everything that we do. And when times are tough, when times are good, when things are struggling, when you might not believe in yourself, if we always come back to heart, then I think we always find our path and our authenticity and a new way of doing things, or coming back to ourselves. And so hold that, infuse it with your energy. There's a few of them around with my guests, and I have one myself, so it's kind of, I feel like it's a gift of energy that keeps transferring between really good people.
Oh, I love that. I do love that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
It's beautiful.
Thank you for being on the show. It's been a pleasure to have you, and I just love what you're about.
Oh, yay. Thank you.